Over the past few months, our lives have been drastically changed as a result of the COVID 19 pandemic. 160,000 Americans are dead, and millions more are out of work. These millions of Americans are uncertain of the U.S. economy's future. So I spoke to Dr. Joshua Rosenblum, the chair of the Economics Department of Iowa State, to get his thoughts on the matter. Congress is currently in a heated debate on whether to extend additional unemployment benefits. Dr. Rosenblum stressed the importance of these negotiations.
A big factor here is what happens in Congress. Right now, the House passed a significant follow-on stimulus bill, and the Senate is debating that what they're going to do, and they seem to be very divided, and they don't seem to be moving very quickly. I think that the economic consequences of their actions will be fairly large. Over the next month, if they don't get the higher unemployment benefits and some of the other help, then we're going to start to see people losing their homes and being foreclosed on, and people are going to be reducing their spending, and that's going to have a big further negative effect on the economy.
Mark Rashkow lost both of his jobs as a result of COVID 19 and is feeling the effects that Dr. Rosenblum mentioned.
It's been really difficult. I'm somebody who I enjoyed working, and I was working over 60 hours a week, and now to sit at home, it's hard. I live with my mom. She's elderly. It's just me. I have no siblings, and it's hard. It's struggling for food, and we have to go to the food pantry once a week, and now it's like a very uncertain time, and I don't know if and when I'll be able to get back to work.
The situation Rashkow is in is why Dr. Rosenblum thinks the additional unemployment benefits should be extended in some capacity.
Well, I do think they should extend it. I think that the additional help has been really important. That the amount of benefits that people are getting ordinarily are only about half of what they would ordinarily be earning, and so having higher benefit levels, higher unemployment benefits, makes a big difference in terms of the spending.
Major companies such as Macy's and Nordstrom have struggled mightily the last few months, with some even declaring bankruptcy. Several of these very well-known and successful companies may not even survive the pandemic.
Well, I think that's quite possible. I think the airline industry is losing money very quickly, and they went into this relatively strong. I think brick and mortar retail was weak to begin with. I mean, they've been facing challenges for a long time, and so it's easier to push them, tip them over the edge. With the airline industry, they were in relatively good financial shape at the beginning of this episode, but I think it's quite possible that some of them might go out of business.
Airlines and large brick-and-mortar retailers are not the only business that may drastically reduce as a result of COVID 19. Helen Schlegel, GM of ArcLight Glenview, sees a similar fate for the movie theater business.
Yeah, so our new COO that we got in basically right before this happened in February, we got a new COO. He came from Cinemark, and he said that normally if there's drastic change in the economy, what happens is a lot of the small mom and pop places are going to end up closing, and then big chains are going to end up getting rid of a lot of the theaters that aren't making money, so they're only going to keep the profitable ones, which in turn you might end up seeing a lot more smaller chains try to evolve and make themselves more known.
Large companies are not the only ones struggling during this pandemic. Thousands of small businesses have been hit hard. This could create obstacles down the road for when others try to start their own small businesses.
I don't think that people are going to look at this and say, well, we're going to have the same kind of event again, and so I better not start a small business. But I think, what is important is people need to have access to financing, and in a lot of cases, they do that through savings that they've built up, or sometimes by maxing out 4 or 5 credit cards or doing other things like that. And all that's going to get harder to do if the economy, if people have to draw down their savings and borrow a lot, and they might default on loans, and that makes it harder for them to borrow in the future.
With cases continuing to rise across the country and several states beginning to significantly roll back reopening plans, the economic future of this country does not look bright. It is clear that any economic recovery will take years, and it will most likely won't start until a vaccine or widespread quick response testing is available to the public. Reporting, this has been Dylan Ryan.